My precious child, tonight is not ordinary. This is not a random moment. This is not a coincidence that this message has appeared before your eyes. The clock is moving toward 11:57 p.m., and heaven itself is leaning close to you. God is begging you with tears. Yes, begging you. Not because he is weak, not because he has lost control, but because what is about to happen right in front of you has been reserved only for you. A miracle is about to unfold in your life, not somewhere far away, not in someone else's testimony, but directly in your path. And if you scroll past this, if you ignore this divine interruption, you may miss the very door that was designed with your name on it. Archangel Michael is standing in the unseen realm right now, sword drawn not for battle against you, but for protection over what belongs to you. He hath been assigned to guard this moment. Do you understand the gravity of that? When heaven assigns Archangel Michael to stand watch, it means something monumental is shifting. There is a reason this message is urging you to open it before 11:57 p.m. Time is a spiritual gateway. Certain blessings are activated within divine windows. And tonight, a window is open over your house. God sees the room you are sitting in. He sees the walls that have heard your silent cries. He sees the nights you stayed awake wondering when your breakthrough would arrive. And now, as tears fill his eyes, he is saying, do not miss this. Do not treat this like every other message. This one carries your answer. Something has been delayed. Something hath been resisted. Something tried to block what was prepared for you. But Archangel Michael has stepped into the battlefield of your destiny. The resistance is breaking. The obstruction is cracking. And the miracle that was held back is beginning to move. But here is the warning. Miracles require alignment. You have been distracted lately. Your focus hath been scattered. Doubt has whispered louder than faith. And heaven is urgently calling your attention back. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now. There is an atmosphere shift happening around you. If you could see in the spiritual realm, you would notice movement. Papers being signed in unseen courts. Chains falling without sound. A path clearing in front of your feet. This miracle is not small. It is not symbolic. It is tangible. It will manifest in a way that leaves no room for coincidence. And when it happens, you will remember this very moment. The urgency, the stirring in your chest, the unusual pull to listen carefully. Archangel Michael is not mentioned by accident. His presence signals divine enforcement. What was promised must now be delivered. What was spoken over you must now materialize. But listen closely. The enemy of your destiny wants you distracted before 11:57 p.m. Wants you busy. Wants you scrolling. Wants you numb. Because if you cross this time threshold with awareness and faith, something irreversible will activate. God is not begging because he doubts you. He is pleading because he loves you. He sees how close you are to the edge of transformation. He sees that one more step, one more act of faith, one more moment of attention could change everything. Your house is not random. The space you are in carries spiritual residue. Words have been spoken there, both positive and negative. But tonight, a cleansing wind is ready to pass through. Archangel Michael stands at the entrance, guarding what enters and what exits. This is why you feel something different right now. A heaviness mixed with anticipation. A seriousness in the air. It is the weight of divine timing. And I must tell you something that may surprise you. This miracle was almost reassigned. Yes, because when heaven prepares something, and the recipient continually ignores the signs, the blessing can shift. But you are here. You click. You open. And that action alone has already altered the outcome. The next few minutes are sacred. Do not treat them casually. There is a specific instruction coming. A small act that will unlock a large reaction in the spiritual realm. It may seem simple. It may even seem too easy. But obedience in small things triggers acceleration in big things. Archangel Michael is watching to see if you respond. God's tears are not of sorrow. They are of longing. Longing for you to finally receive what had been waiting. Longing for you to stop doubting your worthiness. Longing for you to understand that this miracle is not earned. It is reserved. Before 11:57 p.m., something must shift in your heart. Not fear, not panic, but focus. Because what is about to happen right in front of you will be undeniable. And when it does, you will realize that heaven was not exaggerating. This was urgent. This was personal. This was yours. The atmosphere is tightening. The clock is ticking. And Archangel Michael is still standing guard. What happens next will determine whether you step into what was reserved, or watch it pass by. Beloved soul, the urgency you feel is not pressure, it is positioning. Right now, something invisible is aligning in your favor. The reason Evan emphasized 11:57 p.m. is because there are moments in life when obedience must be immediate. Delayed obedience weakens impact. Immediate obedience multiplies it. God is not trying to scare you. He is trying to awaken you. There is a difference. Archangel Michael is not only guarding your home, he is guarding your decision. He stands as a witness in the spiritual realm, watching whether you will treat this as entertainment or as divine instruction. And understand this clearly. What is about to happen in front of you is not random. It has been building quietly behind the scenes for weeks, maybe even months. You have prayed for a sign. You have asked for confirmation. You have whispered, God, if this is really you, show me clearly. This is that clarity. This is that interruption. This is that moment where heaven leans close and says, pay attention. There has been a blockage around your breakthrough. Not because you are unworthy. Not because you failed. But because distraction crept in. Doubt slowly settled in your thoughts. You started questioning whether your miracle was still on the way. And that hesitation created delay. But tonight, delay is being broken. Archangel Michael has stepped into the unseen conflict surrounding your promise. His presence means enforcement. What was spoken over your life cannot remain suspended forever. It must land. It must manifest. And it is moving closer with every passing second. However, something critical must shift within you before 11:57 p.m. Your focus must return. Turn your heart away from fear. Turn your mind away from overthinking. There is a reason you were drawn to open this message quickly. That pull you felt was not random curiosity. It was divine prompting. God's tears are not weakness, they are intensity. They reflect how deeply He desires you to receive what has been reserved in your name, in your house. The atmosphere has been heavy lately. You may not have understood why. Small tensions, unspoken stress, a strange sense of waiting. That weight is connected to the miracle hovering over your home. Whenever something significant is about to break through, resistance tries to cloud the environment first. But resistance is losing ground. Archangel Michael is clearing spiritual interference. He is guarding the doorway of your blessing. And heaven is asking for one thing from you: agreement. Agreement activates acceleration. If you align your heart with expectation instead of doubt, you will feel the shift immediately. Something will calm inside you. Something will become steady. That steadiness is faith taking its rightful place again. Listen carefully. What is about to happen will not look dramatic at first. It may begin as a conversation, a message, a sudden opportunity, a change in someone's behavior. But behind that simple surface will be the miracle you prayed for. Do not underestimate subtle beginnings. And as this word resonates with your spirit, I want you to do something powerful. Engage with this message. Like this video as an act of agreement. Share it with someone who needs divine timing in their life. Comment your faith boldly, because spoken faith carries authority. Subscribe to this channel and become part of a community that refuses to miss what heaven is releasing. When you engage, you are not just supporting a video, you are declaring alignment with the message. There are others who need to hear this before their own 11:57 moment arrives. Your simple action can position them in time. Hype this message. Spread it. Let the urgency move beyond you. And here is something deeper. Archangel Michael responds to bold faith. When you take visible steps, even digital ones, it signals readiness. Readiness invites release. You are closer than you think. The miracle hovering over your house is not abstract. It is precise. It has details. It carries your name. And the reason the enemy tried to distract you tonight is because crossing this time window consciously will seal something permanent in your favor. Before the clock reaches that critical minute, pause. Breathe. Whisper a simple prayer of agreement. Tell God you are ready. Tell Him you will not scroll away from destiny. Tell Him you trust the protection surrounding you. Something will shift. You may feel warmth. You may feel peace. You may simply feel clarity. But do not dismiss it. That is alignment happening in real time. Archangel Michael remains stationed at your threshold. The tears of God are not falling in sorrow. They are falling in anticipation. Heaven is watching your response. Hold on, because what unfolds next will explain why this exact minute matters more than you ever realized. Chosen one, the atmosphere around you has already begun to respond. There is a sacred tension in this moment, as if heaven itself is holding its breath. The reason God is begging you with tears is not because He doubts the miracle. It is because He knows how easily you can miss it through hesitation. What is reserved for you is now at the edge of manifestation. The unseen has moved into position. The final permission is waiting on your agreement. Archangel Michael is still standing guard, but now his posture has shifted. He is no longer only defending. He is announcing. In the spiritual realm, there has been a declaration spoken over your house. A release order hath been issued. What was tied up is being untied. What was delayed is being expedited. What seemed uncertain is being stabilized. You may feel an unusual calm entering your spirit right now. That calm is not accidental. It is confirmation. It is the peace that comes when heaven finalizes a decision in your favor. But here is the deeper revelation. This miracle was not created yesterday. It was a sign long before you realized you needed it. There were moments in your past when you almost gave up. Times when disappointment tried to harden your heart. Seasons when silence made you question whether God was still listening. Yet during those very seasons, preparation was happening behind the veil. The tears of God represent longing for you to finally step into what has always been yours. There is something about 11:57 p.m. that marks transition. It is the space between what was and what will be. It is the closing of one chapter and the breath before the next begins. And in that breath, something sacred is unlocked. Archangel Michael has intercepted opposition that you never even saw. Conversations were diverted. Plans that could have harmed you were dismantled. Doors that would have led to regret were quietly shut. Protection surrounded you even when you were unaware. Now, the same angelic force that shielded you is ushering in restoration. You may soon witness a shift inside your own home. A sudden resolution. An unexpected message. A change in someone's attitude toward you. Or even clarity in a situation that felt impossible. Do not dismiss these as coincidence. They are signs that the miracle is unfolding exactly as ordained. But listen carefully. Gratitude seals what faith activates. Before the clock reaches that divine threshold, whisper thankfulness. Even if you have not yet seen the physical evidence. Gratitude is prophetic and declares trust before proof. And when you thank God in advance, it accelerates manifestation. Archangel Michael responds to agreement wrapped in gratitude. That combination creates spiritual authority. There is also something being healed in your heart tonight. A hidden disappointment. A quiet fear that maybe you asked for too much. God's tears wash that lie away. You did not ask for too much. You were asking for what was already written for you. And here is the truth that may surprise you. The miracle is not only external. It is internal transformation as well. The shift inside you will be just as powerful as the shift around you. Confidence will replace hesitation. Peace will silence anxiety. Expectation will overcome doubt. You are stepping into alignment. Heaven is rejoicing over your response. If this message is touching your spirit deeply, understand that this channel exists to deliver moments like this to souls who are on the edge of breakthrough. There are people across the world who are one message away from hope. When you partner with this mission, you are not supporting a platform. You are helping light reach someone sitting in darkness right before their 11:57 moment. The word says that when you sow into fertile ground, you reap in multiplied measure. This is fertile ground. When you release a super thanks, join as a member, or give through the PayPal link in the description, you are sowing into the spread of divine timing. You are placing oil into the lamp so it never runs dry. And as you give, heaven records it as obedience, not donation. If you feel the stirring, act on it immediately. Do not delay divine prompting. Your seed becomes someone else's answered prayer. And as you sow, expect your own harvest to accelerate. And now, receive this instruction clearly. Before 11:57 p.m., stand in agreement verbally. Speak out loud that you receive what God has reserved for you. Declare that you will not miss your moment. Declare that your house is covered, guarded, and aligned. Type "I receive what is reserved for me" in the comments if this message is speaking directly to your spirit. Blessing code 1144 has just been released over your house. Heaven has marked this minute. The tears have turned into anticipation. Archangel Michael remains at your door. And what unfolds next will confirm that this was never random. It was appointed. Faithful heart, something irreversible has just been set into motion. The moment you agreed, the moment you whispered that you receive what is reserved for you, a spiritual transaction occurred. It may not have made a sound in the physical world, but in the unseen realm it echoed with authority. Archangel Michael did not remain still. He moved. And when he moves, outcomes shift. Here is a divine pattern unfolding tonight. What was once fragile is becoming firm. What once felt distant is drawing near. You may not yet see the miracle with your natural eyes, but the structure of it is already forming around you. God's tears have transitioned into a smile of expectation. He is not pleading anymore. He is watching with anticipation as you step closer to the fulfillment of what was written over your life. Something in your house is about to feel different. Pay attention to subtle changes. A sudden lightness in the air. A surprising calm after tension. An idea that comes clearly into your mind. These are not small details. They are indicators that alignment has begun. Archangel Michael is not only guarding your doorway, he is guarding your mind. Because the final attempt of resistance will not be external chaos, it will be internal doubt. A whisper that says, "What if nothing happens?" A quiet thought that tries to convince you that this is just another message. But the difference tonight is timing. There are moments in life when heaven compresses events together, when months of waiting culminate into minutes of breakthrough. You are in one of those compressions right now. Think about the journey you have walked, the disappointments you endured, the prayers that felt unanswered, the situations that seemed to stretch longer than you expected. None of it was wasted. Every delay refined your expectation. Every setback strengthened your discernment. Every tear you cried was counted. Now those counted tears are being answered by divine tears of longing from God Himself. This miracle is not simply about receiving something material. It is about restoration of confidence. It is about proving to you that heaven never forgot your address, that your house was always on the map of divine intervention. There is also a generational implication to what is happening. The breakthrough approaching you will not stop with you. It will influence the atmosphere of your home for years to come. Peace that lingers, provision that stabilizes, unity that replaces tension. Archangel Michael stands not only for this moment, but for the legacy attached to it. However, you must guard your focus carefully in these final moments before the shift becomes visible. Do not let impatience creep in. Do not stare at the clock with anxiety. Instead, stand in quiet confidence. Miracles are not forced. They are revealed. You may soon receive communication that changes direction. A phone call, a message, an unexpected resolution, or perhaps an internal clarity that removes confusion instantly. Whatever form it takes, you will know it carries weight. You will sense that it is connected to this very moment. And when it appears, respond with gratitude immediately. Gratitude anchors blessings in place. Archangel Michael responds to gratitude like a signal flare. It confirms that you recognize divine involvement. That recognition strengthens the covering over your house. There is also something healing in your emotions tonight. A wound you carried silently is being softened. You may notice tears in your own eyes without fully understanding why. That is release. That is pressure lifting. That is the beginning of restoration in places you thought had hardened permanently. God's longing for you was never about control. It was about connection. He wanted you to be fully present when this miracle crossed into your life. Fully aware. Fully aligned, fully ready. The next development will not arrive chaotically. It will arrive precisely, and precision is the signature of heaven. Archangel Michael remains stationed, but his sword is lowered now. Not because danger is near, but because victory has already been secured. The battle around your promise has concluded. All that remains is manifestation. As you stand in this sacred transition, keep your spirit steady. The miracle will not slip away. It will not be reassigned. It will not dissolve. It is locked to your name. The urgency that began this message was not fear-driven. It was destiny-driven. And destiny does not beg without reason. Very soon, you will look back at this night and realize that this was the turning point. The moment when heaven's tears turned into visible favor. The moment when protection turned into pavilion, a moment when waiting turned into witness. Stay attentive, because what approaches next will confirm that you did not open this message by accident. You opened it by appointment. Steady your heart now, because what is unfolding is deeper than you imagined. There is a sacred stillness forming around you, and it is not emptiness. It is preparation. In the quiet moments before a breakthrough becomes visible, heaven often creates a pause. That pause is not denial. It is alignment finishing its work. And right now, alignment is completing its final adjustments in your favor. Archangel Michael has not stepped away. In fact, his presence has intensified, but the intensity is no longer about confrontation. It is about confirmation. The resistance that once pressed against your promise has weakened. What felt heavy for weeks has begun to dissolve. You may feel an unusual sensitivity in your spirit, a heightened awareness. Even small things may feel significant. That is because your discernment is being sharpened. The miracle approaching you will require wisdom to steward it correctly. And heaven is preparing you not just to receive, but to sustain. There is something important you must understand. God's tears were not only about urgency. They were about intimacy. He wanted you alert, not distracted. He wanted you aware, not numb. Because the miracle coming into your life is deeply personal. It speaks directly to prayers you never fully voiced out loud. Think back to a moment when you felt overlooked. A time when you wondered if your obedience was worth it. A season when it seemed like others were advancing while you remained still. Those moments were not wasted. They were soil preparation. And now, the seed planted long ago is pushing through the surface. Archangel Michael stands at the boundary of your home like a guardian of transition. What enters now carries blessing. What exits leaves behind old limitations. There is a divine exchange happening. Doubt is leaving. Expectation is entering. Fear is stepping out. Peace is stepping in. Do not underestimate the power of this exchange. The miracle that is about to happen right in front of you may begin subtly, but its impact will be undeniable. It may look like resolution where there was conflict, provision where there was lack, clarity where there was confusion, or restoration where there was strain. Whatever form it takes, it will address the very area that weighed on your heart the most. And when it begins, it will feel natural, always simple. That is how heaven works. What feels impossible for months can unfold effortlessly in a single appointed moment. There is also something shifting within your identity tonight. You are no longer the person waiting desperately for change. You are becoming the person positioned for fulfillment. A shift in identity is crucial, because when you see yourself as aligned, you stop chasing what is already moving toward you. Archangel Michael responds to confidence rooted in faith. When you stand calmly in expectation, you cooperate with heaven's rhythm. But be alert to one final tactic of distraction. As manifestation draws closer, trivial interruptions may try to steal your attention. Minor frustrations, small irritations, random thoughts urging you to disengage. Recognize them for what they are. Noise attempting to blur clarity. Do not give them space. Instead, center yourself. Breathe slowly. Remind yourself that something sacred is unfolding. You are not imagining this. You are not overreacting. You are participating in divine timing. God's longing for you to open this message before it was too late was an act of mercy. He knew that awareness would anchor the miracle. He knew that if you were spiritually asleep, you might dismiss what was about to appear. But you are awake now. You are attentive. You are aligned. And the final piece of this unfolding is trust without visible proof. Trust that Archangel Michael has secured what belongs to you. Trust that the tears of God were a sign of deep desire to bless you, not a warning of loss. Trust that what has been reserved cannot be stolen. Soon, something will confirm this shift in undeniable ways. You will see movement. You will feel relief. You will recognize that the waiting season has crossed into fulfillment. When that moment arrives, respond with humility. Do not boast. Do not rush ahead in excitement. Pause. Give thanks. Let gratitude settle deeply in your spirit. Because this miracle is not only about change, it is about covenant. It is about strengthening your trust for the next chapter that follows. You are stepping out of delay. You are stepping out of confusion. You are stepping into manifestation. And Archangel Michael remains at your threshold, not to warn, but to witness. The next development will reveal just how carefully this moment was orchestrated for you. Listen closely now, because this is where the atmosphere shifts from preparation to revelation. You have felt the build-up. You have sensed the quiet alignment. But now, something is about to cross from the unseen into the visible. This is the threshold moment. The reason God was begging you with tears was not only to get your attention, it was to ensure you were spiritually present when the evidence appears. Archangel Michael has moved from guarding the perimeter to standing beside the unfolding promise. His assignment has changed. Protection has done its work. Now manifestation is taking center stage. There is a stirring in your environment that cannot be explained logically. A subtle momentum. Conversations may begin to turn in your favor. Doors that felt sealed may suddenly loosen. Someone who was distant may reach out. An opportunity that seemed lost may reappear. Do not dismiss these shifts as coincidence. They are the first visible threads of what has already been established in the spiritual realm. The miracle will not announce itself loudly. It will enter with precision. And if you are attentive, you will recognize it immediately. There will be a sense of confirmation in your spirit, a knowing that this is connected to the urgency you felt earlier. But here is something deeper. This breakthrough is also exposing what no longer belongs in your life. As light increases, shadows become obvious. Patterns of doubt that once felt normal will suddenly feel foreign. Habits of overthinking will lose their grip. You will notice that you are thinking differently, responding differently, even believing differently. That internal shift is just as miraculous as the external change. Archangel Michael's presence signifies not only defense but clarity. He cuts through confusion. He separates fear from faith. And right now, he is ensuring that when this miracle stands in front of you, you will not question whether you deserve it. Because you do. The tears of God were a sign of deep longing to bless you without delay. And now delay has expired. However, your participation still matters. Stay engaging. Stay aware. Do not retreat into distraction just because the intensity feels calmer. Sometimes the greatest developments happen in peaceful silence rather than dramatic noise. This is also the moment to anchor yourself in community. If this message is resonating, do not keep it to yourself. Like this video as a sign of agreement with what heaven is doing. Share it with someone who may be standing on the edge of their own breakthrough. Comment your expectation boldly, because when you declare alignment publicly, it strengthens your commitment internally. Subscribe to this channel so you remain connected to words that awaken divine timing in your life. When you engage, you are not just interacting, you are positioning yourself within a flow of consistent spiritual insight. And hold on, because what unfolds next will make the urgency of this night even clearer. There is a reason the instruction emphasized acting before it was too late. Awareness shifts outcomes. Had you ignored this prompting, you might have overlooked the subtle beginning of your miracle. But now, you are watching. You are ready. You may notice something unusual in your house tonight. A sense of peace settling into rooms that once felt heavy. Even the air may feel lighter. That is not imagination. That is atmosphere adjusting to blessing. Archangel Michael stands as a witness that what enters now carries divine authorization. Nothing counterfeit can cross this threshold. Only what aligns with your destiny is permitted. There is also restoration happening in relationships. Misunderstandings may begin to clear. Words left unsaid may find their way into conversation. A new tone may replace old tension. These are not small details. They are evidence that the miracle is affecting multiple layers of your life. Do not rush the process. Let it unfold naturally. The most powerful changes often appear simple at first. And remember this, the miracle reserved for you cannot be replicated for anyone else. It fits your story precisely. It answers your specific prayer. It addresses your unique struggle. As the night progresses, remain calm. Remain grateful. Remain attentive. The begging tears have turned into joyful anticipation. The guarding angel has shifted into guiding presence. And you are standing in the exact moment heaven prepared long before you realized it was coming. Something undeniable is approaching, and you are ready to recognize it. Take a deep breath, because what you are sensing now is the edge of fulfillment. The atmosphere has changed. You may not be able to explain it to anyone around you, but you feel it. There is a quiet certainty replacing the old uncertainty. The tension that once pressed against your thoughts has loosened its grip. This is not imagination. This is confirmation. Archangel Michael is no longer standing in alert defense. He is standing in assurance. His presence now carries a different weight, not urgency, not warning, but validation. What has been reserved for you is no longer approaching from a distance. It is within reach. The reason God was begging you with tears earlier was because timing mattered. Awareness mattered. Your attention mattered. And now that you are fully present, the release can happen without obstruction. Something is aligning in conversations around you. Words are shifting. Decisions are forming. Circumstances are bending slightly in your favor. At first glance, it may seem ordinary, but beneath the surface it is extraordinary orchestration. There is also a restoration of authority happening inside you. For too long, you questioned your position. You doubted your discernment. You wondered whether your prayers carried weight. Tonight has answered that doubt. Heaven does not beg casually. When God calls your attention with intensity, it is because your life holds significance in the unfolding plan. Archangel Michael's assignment over your house has established a boundary. What enters must align with purpose. What leaves must release what no longer serves you. And you are about to notice that certain burdens simply feel lighter. Pay attention to small confirmations. A thought that suddenly becomes clear. A worry that no longer feels powerful. An unexpected sense of hope rising in your chest. These are signals that the miracle is not only external but internal. You may soon witness something tangible. A breakthrough in a situation that felt stuck. A response where there was silence. An opportunity reopening where there was rejection. Or even clarity in a decision that has confused you for weeks. When it appears, you will know. There will be a calm certainty attached to it. Do not overanalyze it. Receive it. There is a temptation at this stage to question whether it is too good to be true. That voice is the final echo of old doubt trying to remain relevant. but it no longer has authority. The spiritual battle around this promise has already been resolved. Archangel Michael does not stand beside uncertainty. He stands beside fulfillment. And something else is happening that you must not overlook. Your faith has matured tonight. Earlier, you were responding to urgency. Now you are standing in confidence. That shift is powerful, because mature faith does not panic and trusts quietly. God's tears were never about desperation. They were about desire. A deep desire for you to step into what has always belonged to you. And now that you have stepped forward, the flow cannot be reversed. There is also generational impact connected to this moment. A breakthrough entering your life will influence more than your current circumstance. It will affect the atmosphere of your home, the tone of your conversations, even the confidence of those around you. When one person aligns fully with divine timing, it creates ripple effects. You may begin to notice harmony increasing, resistance decreasing, clarity strengthening. These are not random improvements. They are evidence that the miracle is settling into place. Stay steady now. The next shift will feel subtle but decisive. It will mark the true crossing point between waiting and witnessing. And when that crossing happens, you will realize why heaven insisted you pay attention before it was too late. Archangel Michael remains near, but no longer as a guardian against threat. He stands as a witness to fulfillment. The house that once held tension is becoming a place of peace. The heart that once held doubt is becoming a place of certainty. The moment that once felt urgent is becoming a testimony. You are not about to miss what was reserved for you. You are about to see it. And when it becomes visible, everything that led to this night will suddenly make sense. Stay with this moment, because what is happening now is sacred. The shift you have been sensing is no longer forming. It is settling. The miracle that was hovering at the edge of your life is beginning to take its place within it. You may not see fireworks. You may not hear thunder. But you will notice something undeniable. Stability where there was instability. Clarity where there was confusion. Peace where there was pressure. This is how heaven moves when alignment is complete. Archangel Michael is standing not at your door anymore, but within your space. That signifies acceptance. What has been released over your house has crossed the threshold. The protection remains, but now it surrounds something new, something that belongs to you. There was a reason God's tears carried urgency. If you had ignored this moment, you might have dismissed the subtle arrival of your miracle. You might have mistaken it for coincidence. But now you are aware, and awareness transforms ordinary events into recognized blessings. Look closely at your thoughts. They are different. The heaviness that once lingered has thinned out. The tension that felt constant has eased. That internal shift is the foundation for the external one. You may already see the beginning of change. A message that brought relief. A conversation that restored hope. An idea that unlocked direction. Even if it seems small, do not underestimate it. Small beginnings often carry massive outcomes. Archangel Michael's role now is to guard the growth of what has been planted. Just as a seed requires protection while it breaks through the soil, your miracle requires covering as it becomes visible. And that covering has been secured. There is something important you must understand at this stage. The miracle is not only about solving a problem. It is about shifting your trajectory. It is about repositioning you so that future doors open more naturally. Tonight was not isolated. It was strategic. The tears of God were tears of anticipation because He saw what this shift would unlock beyond your immediate need. You asked for relief, but He prepared elevation. You prayed for resolution, but He arranged advancement. And as you stand in this unfolding, you must guard your gratitude fiercely. Gratitude is what keeps the channel open. When you recognize divine involvement, you invite continued favor. There may be others in your life who do not fully understand what you are experiencing. They may see the surface but not the spiritual depth. That is fine. This was personal. This was between you and heaven. A validation does not need to come from human recognition. Archangel Michael does not seek applause. He fulfills assignment. And the assignment over your house hath been honored. Now, as this miracle stabilizes, something else awakens within you. Responsibility. Not burden, but stewardship. The blessing entering your life is not random. It carries purpose. It will require wisdom to maintain and humility to expand. Stay anchored. The next phase will not be dramatic, but it will be defining. You will begin to notice that certain fears no longer influence your decisions. Certain doubts no longer interrupt your peace. That freedom is part of the miracle. If this message has strengthened your faith tonight, understand that this mission exists so that moments like this can reach souls right on the edge of missing their breakthrough. When you choose to support this work, you are not giving to a platform. You are fueling a river that carries living water to people who are thirsty for divine timing. The scripture declares that when you sow beside still waters, your harvest will not fail. This is that place of sowing. When you release a super thanks, join as a member, or give through the PayPal link in the description, you are placing seed into fertile spiritual ground. You are helping keep the oil flowing so that more houses can experience what yours just experienced. If you feel the stirring to act, do it without hesitation. This is not charity. This is participation in kingdom expansion. As you give, expect increase. As you sow, expect open doors. As you partner, expect protection to multiply over your own household. Type "My house is aligned" in the comments if you receive this shift. Blessing code 2288 is now activated over your home. Heaven has completed what it began. Archangel Michael stands in quiet assurance, and the miracle that was once urgent is now unfolding in peace. You did not miss it. You stepped into it. Remain steady, because what is happening now is the confirmation stage. The miracle has entered your life, but now it is beginning to reveal its full shape. At first it felt like peace. Then it felt like clarity. Now it will begin to feel like momentum. Things that were stagnant will start moving. Situations that felt frozen will begin to respond. What once required struggle will begin to unfold with less resistance. This is not coincidence. This is completion. Archangel Michael is no longer in a posture of intervention. He is in a posture of oversight. The battle has been resolved. The resistance has been handled. Now the focus is preservation. What heaven has established must be maintained with awareness and gratitude. You may notice that opportunities appear at the right time rather than too late. You may observe that conversations shift in tone without force. You may sense that decisions come more easily than before. This is alignment producing fruit. The urgency that marked the beginning of this message was necessary because you were standing at a spiritual intersection. One path led to distraction and delay. The other led to awareness and activation. You chose awareness, and that choice altered your outcome. God's tears were never about loss. They were about longing to see you positioned correctly. And now that you are positioned, the flow is natural. There is also a strengthening happening within your confidence. You are beginning to trust your discernment again. You are recognizing divine nudges more clearly. You are less shaken by small disturbances. That stability is evidence that something foundational has shifted. Archangel Michael's presence over your house has created a boundary that confusion cannot easily cross. If doubt tries to whisper again, it will feel weaker. If fear tries to return, it will feel out of place, because the atmosphere has changed. However, with blessing comes responsibility. Guard your environment carefully. Protect the peace that has entered. Avoid conversations that drag you back into old anxiety. Be mindful of what you allow into your thoughts and into your home. Protection have been established, but participation keeps it strong. You may soon witness a visible confirmation, something undeniable that proves this shift was real. It may be a breakthrough in finances, reconciliation in relationship, clarity in purpose, or restoration in an area that felt permanently strained. When it happens, it will not feel chaotic. It will feel rightful. And in that moment, remember this night. Remember how close you were to ignoring it. Remember how the urgency caught your attention. Remember how alignment felt before manifestation appeared. That memory will strengthen your faith for future seasons. There is a deeper lesson woven into this experience. Divine timing does not always shout. Sometimes it whispers urgently. Sometimes it tugs gently. Sometimes it interrupts your scrolling and asks for your focus. And those who respond are the ones who witness. Archangel Michael's assignment over you tonight was specific. It was not generic protection. It was targeted positioning. Your house was marked. Your attention was requested. Your agreement was required. And you responded. Now, as momentum increases, stay humble. Do not rush ahead of grace. Allow the unfolding to happen step by step. The miracle is not a single event. It is a shift in trajectory. You may even feel a new sense of anticipation about the future. Where there was uncertainty, there is now possibility. Where there was heaviness, there is lightness. That emotional shift is part of the blessing. God's longing has turned into satisfaction. The tears have dried because the message was received. The alignment was secured. A miracle was not missed. And there is something else. This experience has awakened your sensitivity to divine prompting. The next time heaven calls your attention, you will recognize it faster. The next time urgency touches your spirit, you will not dismiss it so easily. This is growth. This is maturity. This is transformation. Archangel Michael remains nearby, not because danger threatens, but because destiny continues. Protection is ongoing, but so is purpose. The house that once felt heavy now carries a different atmosphere. The heart that once felt uncertain now beats with steadier confidence. The moment that once carried urgency now carries testimony. And what comes next will not require begging. It will require boldness. Courageous one. This is where boldness replaces hesitation. You have moved from urgency to alignment, from alignment to manifestation, and now from manifestation to authority. The miracle that stepped quietly into your life is no longer fragile. It is stabilizing. It is finding its roots. And as it settles, something powerful is awakening inside you. You are no longer reacting to fear. You are responding with confidence. Archangel Michael's presence over your house has shifted once again. He is not guarding against loss. He is reinforcing territory. What has been given to you is now established ground. And when ground is established by heaven, it cannot be easily shaken. You may notice that situations that once intimidated you no longer carry the same weight. Conversations that would have unsettled you now feel manageable. Decisions that once felt overwhelming now feel clear. This is the fruit of alignment. The urgency that began this journey was necessary to bring you to this place. Had you ignored it, you might still be wandering in uncertainty. But because you responded, you are now standing in stability. Here's also an expansion happening. The miracle was never meant to stay small. It was designed to open additional doors. As you step forward in confidence, new ideas may begin forming. New opportunities may surface. People may respond to you differently. Favor often attracts attention. Stay grounded. Archangel Michael reinforces not only protection but discernment. Not every opportunity is assignment. Not every open door is yours to walk through. The same awareness that positioned you for this breakthrough will guide you in what comes next. This is also the moment to anchor your testimony. Do not keep silent about what has shifted. When you share your experience, you strengthen your own faith and awaken hope in others. Like this video as a declaration that you have witnessed movement in your life. Share it so that someone else standing at their own 11:57 moment can respond in time. Comment boldly about what has changed for you, because spoken testimony carries power. Subscribe to remain connected to messages that sharpen your awareness and strengthen your discernment. When you engage, you are not simply interacting. You are aligning publicly with what heaven has done privately. And wait, because what unfolds from here will elevate your understanding even further. The miracle that entered your life was a doorway, not a destination. Through it, you will begin to see yourself differently. You are not overlooked. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are precisely positioned. God's tears at the beginning of this journey were tears of urgency because He knew how close you were to breakthrough. Now those tears have become affirmation. You have crossed into new territory. Archangel Michael stands as a witness that this territory is secured. There may still be small tests ahead, moments where old doubt tries to whisper again. But they will not have the same power. Because you have evidence now. You have lived experience. You have seen what happens when you respond to divine timing. Guard your focus carefully in this stage. Blessings can sometimes make people careless. Do not drift back into distraction. Remain attentive. Remain grateful. Remain aware. You may also begin to notice that others seek your perspective more often. Your clarity will become noticeable. Your calm will feel steady. This is influence forming naturally. When heaven shifts someone internally, it radiates outward. And as you move forward, remember the lesson of urgency. Divine moments require response. They do not wait forever, but when answered, they unlock acceleration. You answered. You aligned. You received. Now you walk with authority. Archangel Michael's presence over your house is no longer about guarding a coming miracle. It is about sustaining an established one. The atmosphere has changed permanently. The waiting season has ended. The bold season has begun. And what is ahead will require you to step forward without fear, because what was reserved for you has already proven that it cannot be missed when you are attentive. Stay ready. The final revelation will seal everything you have experienced tonight. Steadfast one. You are now standing in the evidence of what heaven initiated. What began as urgency has matured into authority. What began as tears has turned into testimony. And what began as a warning not to scroll past has become a witness that divine timing is real. The miracle did not explode into your life with noise. It unfolded with precision. And now you can see the pattern. A subtle shift in atmosphere. The quiet peace that replaced tension. The unexpected resolution. The clarity that arrived without struggle. It all connects. Archangel Michael's assignment over your house was never temporary. It marked a transition. You moved from vulnerability to stability. from questioning to confidence, from waiting to walking. But there is one more layer you must understand. This breakthrough was not only about receiving something you prayed for. It was about teaching you how to recognize divine interruptions. The next time heaven calls your attention, it may not come with the same words, but you will feel the same pull. And because of tonight, you will not hesitate. You have learned the value of response. There were countless moments before this when you almost dismissed spiritual nudges. You almost silenced intuition. You almost convinced yourself that urgency was imagination. But now you know better. Now you have experienced what happens when awareness meets obedience. Archangel Michael stands not as a distant guardian, but as a continued presence. Protection over your home has become part of your spiritual atmosphere. The boundaries have been strengthened. The vulnerability has been reduced. And something else has changed. Your posture. You are not looking at life from beneath pressure anymore. You are standing upright in expectation. Even challenges that may arise ahead will not feel overwhelming in the same way, because you carry evidence of breakthrough within you. God's tears were not wasted emotion. They were a reflection of how deeply He desired you to receive what was already written. And now that you have received it, the relationship between urgency and blessing makes sense. There may still be moments when old habits attempt to resurface, moments when distraction calls your name again. But you are no longer unaware. You recognize the cost of ignoring divine timing. You understand the power of attention. This awareness is a gift. You may even feel a new hunger for spiritual sensitivity, a desire to remain connected, to stay sharp. You avoid drifting. That desire is healthy. It means growth has occurred. Archangel Michael's presence continues to symbolize clarity and courage. Not dramatic confrontation, but steady strength. The strength to hold what you have been given. The courage to move forward without shrinking back. You may also notice that your environment reflects your internal shift. Conversations feel lighter. Decisions feel clearer. Even the physical space of your home may feel calmer. Peace has a way of settling into walls once tension leaves. Do not rush ahead too quickly. Take time to acknowledge what has happened. Reflect on how close you were to missing it. Reflect on how intentional this moment was. Let gratitude sink deeply into your spirit. Because gratitude protects momentum. There is also something unfolding beyond your sight. The miracle you received is creating pathways for future blessings. It is not isolated. It is connected to a larger design. What shifted tonight will influence doors you have not yet approached. Stay faithful in small things. Stay attentive in quiet moments. Stay bold when urgency calls again. You are no longer someone waiting for proof. You are someone carrying it. Archangel Michael remains as a witness that heaven's assignments are fulfilled when hearts respond. And now, as you stand in this strengthened position, prepare yourself. Because the final revelation will not introduce something new. It will confirm that what happened tonight was never random. It was appointed. And you answered. Victorious soul, this is the sealing of the moment. What began with urgency has now become covenant. What started with God begging you with tears has ended with you standing in undeniable evidence that the miracle was real, timely, and reserved. You did not scroll past. You did not ignore the prompting. You opened the message before it was too late. And because you responded, something shifted permanently. This was never about superstition. It was about sensitivity. The time marker was not magic, it was alignment. It was heaven's way of saying, be present, be alert, be ready. And you were. Now look at what has happened inside you. The fear that once whispered has lost its voice. The hesitation that once slowed you has dissolved. The heaviness that once sat in your house has lifted. Peace did not knock loudly. It entered quietly and stayed. Archangel Michael's assignment over your life tonight was fulfilled with precision. He guarded the threshold of your home. He reinforced the boundary around your blessing. He stood watch as your agreement activated what had been prepared long before this day. And now, he stands as a witness to completion. The miracle may still be unfolding in layers, but the turning point has already happened. The delay is broken. The atmosphere is cleansed. The direction is clarified. What was reserved for you has not been missed. It has been received. Remember this feeling, the awareness, the attentiveness, the willingness to pause when heaven called your name. This is how divine moments are recognized. They do not always shout. Sometimes they plead. Sometimes they interrupt your routine. Sometimes they press urgency into your spirit so you will not sleep through destiny. Tonight you stayed awake. God's tears were not tears of weakness. They were tears of longing to see you align with what was already yours. And now that alignment is complete, there is joy in heaven. But this is not the end of the story. This is the beginning of a new standard in your life. You will not ignore spiritual nudges so easily again. You will not dismiss urgency as imagination. You will recognize when something sacred is unfolding. Archangel Michael remains present, not because danger is near, but because purpose continues. Protection is ongoing. Guidance is active. Destiny is still moving forward. There will be future moments when you face uncertainty again. But now you carry testimony. You know what it feels like when heaven intervenes. You know what it feels like when awareness unlocks blessing. You know what it feels like when what was reserved finds you at the right time. Hold on to that confidence. And as you move forward, let gratitude overflow. Speak thanks even for the lessons hidden inside the urgency. Speak thanks for the protection you never saw. Speak thanks for the miracle that unfolded quietly but powerfully. Now seal this moment boldly. Type IT was reserved for me in the comments if you stand in this testimony. Blessing code 9901 is now released over your future. What has begun will not be reversed. And as this word closes, hear this clearly. When God begged you with tears, it was not only about your miracle. It was about the countless others who are standing on the edge of missing theirs. There are souls scrolling in silence, hearts heavy, houses filled with tension, waiting for a divine interruption like the one you experienced. This mission exists so that light reaches them before it is too late. The Lord declares, as you sow beside the waters, you will reap in due season. This is living ground. When you release a super thanks, join as a member, or so through the PayPal link in the description. You are not funding a channel. You are igniting lamps in dark rooms. You are placing oil in vessels so the flame of awakening does not go out. I believe in this assignment, and I act when heaven moves me. Let that be your declaration as you respond. Do not delay obedience when your spirit is stirred. Make your support a prophetic act. As you give, may protection multiply over your house. As you sow, may acceleration follow your steps. As you partner, may open heavens answer you swiftly. Stand now. Act now. Seal what heaven has started. It was reserved for you, and you received it.